Y'all, what just hit the internet is not normal celebrity gossip. This is the kind of leak that destroys marriages, ruins reputations, and shakes the entire industry. A grainy black and white security camera clip is now circulating online, and fans are claiming it shows Remy Ma and 50 Cent in a private late-night meeting that was never meant to be seen. But the real shock? The person allegedly responsible for leaking it is Papoose himself. Yes, the same husband who built his image on loyalty, love, and protecting his wife at all costs. So now the question is simple. If this footage is real, then we're looking at betrayal at the highest level. And if it's fake, then we're watching a man publicly sacrifice his own wife for attention and a comeback in the spotlight. Social media is in absolute chaos. Some say this is revenge. Others say it's a calculated publicity stunt. But what is the truth really? And why have Remy Ma and 50 Cent stayed completely silent about it so far? Stay locked in because what you're about to hear next changes everything. Before we even get into the leaked footage, you need to understand why this situation feels bigger than just a scandal. Because this isn't just about three celebrities. This is about history, loyalty, power, and a marriage that was already standing on thin ice. Let's start with Papoose and Remy Ma. For years, they were sold to the public as the definition of ride or die. When Remy Ma went to prison, Papoose was the man who stood by her side. He visited her, defended her, waited for her, and made the world believe their love was untouchable. Their relationship became more than marriage. It became a brand. They turned their love story into TV moments, music collaborations, and social media content that painted them as the strongest couple in hip-hop. To fans, they weren't just husband and wife. They were the example of what real loyalty looked like in an industry full of fake love. But behind that perfect image, insiders say things were never as solid as they looked. There had always been whispers about control, money, and power dynamics. Some sources claimed Remy Ma was the real powerhouse in the relationship, the one with the bigger career, the bigger influence, and the bigger bag. Others believed Papoose was the one holding everything together emotionally, but constantly felt overshadowed. That imbalance allegedly created tension that the public never saw. And now, enter 50 Cent. 50 has never been quiet when it comes to industry drama. He's known for exposing secrets, calling people out, and turning real-life conflicts into viral moments. And over the years, his relationship with Remy Ma has been complicated. They've had subtle shade thrown on social media. They've been on opposite sides of hip-hop politics. And while nothing was ever confirmed publicly, people in the industry have always felt like there was unfinished business between them. So when a video suddenly appears showing the two of them in what looks like a secret late-night meeting, people didn't just see drama. They saw a setup. Because this isn't random. This is a collision of old tensions, broken trust, and a husband now being accused of leaking footage that could destroy everything he and Remy built. According to what's being alleged online, the footage didn't just appear. It was released with perfect timing, right when rumors about Remy and Papoose's marriage were already starting to resurface. Some fans noticed that Remy Ma hadn't been posting Papoose as much. Others pointed out how separate their lives had begun to look publicly. It was subtle, but it was enough for people to start asking if things behind the scenes were still as strong as they claimed. And that's when this security footage changed the conversation entirely. Because if Papoose truly leaked it, then this is not just a betrayal. This is a man turning his own marriage into a weapon for attention. But if he didn't, then someone is trying to make it look like he did. Either way, the public is being pulled into a situation where loyalty, image, and reality are now colliding. And what makes this even more intense is the emotional side of it. Think about it. This is the same man who once said he would die for Remy Ma. The same man who waited for her through prison. The same man who made the world believe their love was real, unbreakable, and built on sacrifice. So for people to now believe that he would leak security footage of her with another man, that feels like the ultimate twist. And 50 Cent's silence only made things worse. Because when someone like 50 stays quiet during drama like this, it doesn't look innocent. It looks like he's waiting for the chaos to build before he steps in and finishes the story himself. Meanwhile, Remy Ma hasn't said a word either. No denial. No explanation. No clarification. Just silence. And in celebrity scandals, silence is never neutral. It always means something. Insiders claim this entire situation has been building for months. They say Papoose has been trying to regain relevance in the music scene. They say Remy Ma has been focusing on her own moves and independence. And they say 50 Cent has been quietly observing everything from a distance. So when this footage suddenly drops, it doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like the start of something bigger, a public unraveling of private tensions that were never supposed to come out. And now the world is watching, waiting to see. Did Papoose really expose his own wife? Or is he about to reveal that what looks like the truth was never real at all? Stay with me because this is only the beginning. The moment this story exploded, it didn't just trend. It broke the internet. Because the footage that surfaced wasn't blurry paparazzi clips or rumors. It was presented as actual security camera footage taken from what looked like a private luxury property. A dark hallway, a hidden camera angle, a timestamp in the corner. And in that footage, according to what was being claimed online, people could clearly see Remy Ma walking into a private room with 50 Cent. No smiles, no cameras, no music industry events. Just a quiet, secretive, late-night interaction that immediately raised the question. Why were they meeting in private? But what pushed this from gossip into full-blown chaos was the source attached to the leak. The clip was posted from an anonymous burner account, but digital analysts and social media investigators quickly claimed that the metadata pointed back to Papoose's team. That one detail turned this from a scandal into a marriage crisis in real time. Because suddenly, the world wasn't asking what Remy Ma and 50 Cent were doing. They were asking, why would Papoose expose his own wife like this? And that's when the emotional war started. Fans flooded Twitter and Instagram, calling Papoose a snake, a clout chaser, a man desperate for attention, someone willing to destroy the woman who stood by him just to get back in headlines. Some said he was heartbroken. Others said he was jealous. And many believe this was his way of publicly humiliating Remy Ma before their marriage officially collapsed. But the real explosion happened when another clip surfaced. This time, it wasn't just footage. It was audio. A voice that sounded exactly like Remy Ma saying, "We can't let Papoose find out about this." The internet froze. Because now, this wasn't just about a late-night meeting. It looked like a full betrayal narrative unfolding. According to the online narrative, the clip suggested that Remy Ma had been hiding something serious, and that Papoose had finally decided to expose it all. But here's where things turn darker. Because as the story gained traction, a so-called insider source came forward and claimed that this leak was not about truth. It was about revenge and power. The source alleged that Papoose had been feeling pushed out of Remy Ma's career decisions for months. That he felt replaced, unheard, and disrespected behind the scenes. And that leaking this footage was his way of taking back control, not just over Remy Ma, but over the public narrative itself. Think about that. A man who built his identity on loyalty, now being accused of using the same loyalty as a weapon for humiliation. The emotional weight of that was enough to tear the internet apart. Half the fans believed he was hurt and reacting out of heartbreak. The other half believed he was simply destroying Remy Ma to save his own relevance. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed completely silent. No response. No clarification. No denial. And that silence made things worse. Because when someone like 50 doesn't react, it makes it feel like he already knew this was coming, like he was watching it unfold on purpose. That's when a third wave of tension hit. Because another burner account posted what looked like direct messages between Papoose and an unnamed producer. In the messages, Papoose allegedly said, "They thought I was weak. They thought I wouldn't do it. But the truth always finds a way out." Now the internet was fully convinced. They believed this was not an accident. They believed this was calculated exposure. And the narrative shifted from suspicion to certainty. People began saying, Papoose caught Remy cheating and exposed her. 50 Cent ruined their marriage. This is the end of hip-hop's most loyal couple. And that's when Remy Ma finally broke her silence. not with a denial, but with a cryptic post. She uploaded a black screen to her Instagram story with just one line: "You can't destroy what you never truly built." The reaction was instant, because that didn't sound like heartbreak. That sounded like war. Fans started questioning whether Remy was saying their marriage was already broken, Papoose was lying, or the entire footage was fake. And that's when the first real twist dropped. Because within hours, another source came forward claiming that the footage wasn't what it appeared to be. According to the new allegation, the so-called security camera leak was actually AI-generated footage. A manipulated video created using facial replication technology and voice simulation, designed to look real, but built entirely for shock and controversy. That single detail flipped the entire narrative upside down, because now the world had to ask, if the footage was fake, then why was Papoose's name attached to it? Was he behind it, or was someone setting him up to look like the villain? And that's where the emotional tension exploded, because if Papoose truly leaked AI footage of his own wife, then he didn't just betray Remy. He betrayed the truth itself. But if he didn't, then someone else was using his name and reputation to destroy him from the inside out. Either way, this wasn't a relationship problem anymore. This was a full-blown psychological, emotional, and public warfare situation playing out in front of millions of people. And the worst part? No one knew what was real and what was performance. Because in the world of celebrity drama, once fake truth becomes viral, it becomes impossible to separate betrayal from manipulation. And that leaves only one terrifying question. If the first leak was fake, then what happens when the real footage finally comes out? Stay with me, because this story is just getting started. Once the footage started circulating, this situation didn't stay between Papoose, Remy Ma, and 50 Cent. It infected the entire hip-hop industry. Every major blog picked it up. Every gossip channel ran with it. And within hours, this story went from possible scandal to the most talked-about celebrity controversy of the year. But here's where it gets dangerous. Because as people kept analyzing the footage, something new began to stand out. Fans noticed that the security camera angles looked too perfect. The lighting was cinematic. The timing was dramatic. The positioning of the people felt almost staged. It didn't look like a random security leak. It looked like a planned production. And that's when the digital breakdown started. Tech analysts on YouTube and Twitter began pointing out what they believed were AI artifacts in the video. The facial expressions, the eye movement, the shadows. They said it didn't move like real footage. It moved like something that was created, not recorded. But before that rumor could even settle, another shocking twist hit. Because a new leaked report claimed that the video was not only AI-generated, it was allegedly part of a larger marketing strategy designed to bring Papoose back into the spotlight. According to the so-called insider sources, Papoose had been working with a group of underground digital producers who specialized in AI voice cloning, deep-fake video generation, viral narrative manipulation. And the plan was simple. Create a fake scandal so explosive that it forces the entire internet to talk about him again. At first, people refused to believe it, because this would mean Papoose was willing to destroy his own marriage publicly just to become relevant again. But then something even more unbelievable happened. A third clip surfaced. This one wasn't a hallway or a blurry camera. It was what looked like a screen recording of a video editing timeline. On that timeline, fans could clearly see a clip labeled Remy_50_final in P4, an audio layer titled Remy_voice cloned wave, and a project name called Stuntdrop_2026. The internet lost it, because now it didn't feel like gossip. It felt like evidence. Suddenly, the narrative changed again. People weren't saying, "Did Papoose leak the footage?" They were saying, "Papoose created the footage." That shift turned this from drama into a public execution. Fans who once defended him began turning on him instantly. They said he wasn't heartbroken. They said he was calculated. They said he was using Remy Ma's name, image, and loyalty as part of a fake storyline designed to rebuild his own career. And what made this even worse was the emotional context. Because Remy Ma had built her image on strength, loyalty, and survival, to now be used in a fake cheating scandal created by her own husband? That didn't just look like betrayal. That looked like character assassination. Meanwhile, Remy Ma's silence continued, but her team didn't stay quiet. One of her close associates posted, "This is not just disrespect. This is psychological abuse." And that line lit the internet on fire. Because now, this wasn't celebrity gossip anymore. This was being framed as a man emotionally manipulating his wife and the public for attention. Then came the real shock. Because just when people thought this was the full story, a brand new insider dropped the most unbelievable claim yet. They said, the footage wasn't just AI. The entire scandal was allegedly planned by both Papoose and 50 Cent together. Let that sink in. The husband and the supposed other man, working behind the scenes on the same narrative. The claim was that they wanted to create chaos, turn Remy Ma into the emotional centerpiece, and then expose the truth later to make Papoose look like a victim instead of a villain. But if that was true, then this wasn't about cheating. This was about manipulation at the highest level. A storyline so twisted that the audience couldn't even tell what was real anymore. And at that point, the biggest question wasn't about the footage. It was about the motive. Was this a broken marriage? A publicity stunt? Or an industry-level psychological game where truth itself was being turned into entertainment? Because if the truth is fake, then the drama becomes more powerful than reality itself. And the scariest part? The story still wasn't finished. Because just when the world thought they had uncovered everything, another leak was promised. And this time, they claimed it would show who really started this entire operation. Stay tuned, because the next twist might be the one that ends it all. The moment this story broke, the internet didn't just react, it exploded. Fans were screaming, blogs were speculating, and every major hip-hop page turned this into a full-blown digital war zone. On Twitter, hashtags like hashtag Remy Ma exposed, hashtag Papoose betrayal, hashtag 50 Cent scandal, hashtag fake footage started trending worldwide within hours. Some fans said this was the ultimate humiliation. They believed Papoose had crossed a line no husband ever should, putting Remy Ma in the middle of a fake scandal just for attention. One tweet went viral saying, "If you have to destroy your wife to save your career, you were never a real man." But not everyone agreed. A second wave of fans believed this was actually a smart marketing move. They argued that in today's industry, controversy equals clout, and clout equals survival. One influencer wrote, "If the footage is fake, then Papoose just proved he understands how to control the narrative better than anyone." That statement only made things worse, because now the internet was split between team loyalty and team strategy. Meanwhile, celebrities began quietly picking sides. A known rapper liked to post calling Papoose manipulative. Another industry figure commented, "This is what happens when love turns into business." Even more shocking, some insiders started claiming that labels were actually interested in signing Papoose again because of the attention this drama was generating. They said controversy sells, and this scandal had just turned his name back into a headline brand. But Remy Ma's supporters weren't having it. Fan pages dedicated to her began pushing back hard, posting messages like, "This woman survived prison, loss, and industry hate. And now her own husband tries to turn her into content." That emotional support made the backlash even stronger. At the same time, 50 Cent's silence created its own storm. Some fans felt he was part of the stunt. Others believed he was waiting for the perfect time to drop his own side, something that could either save or destroy everyone involved. And as the public argued, speculated, and fought over what was real and what was fake, one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This had turned into a cultural moment. A story about loyalty, power, reputation, and the dangerous lengths artists will go to stay relevant. But the real question was still unanswered. Because if the footage is fake, then why hasn't Papoose denied it yet? And if it's real, then what exactly is 50 Cent hiding? The truth is still out there, and when it finally drops, someone's entire world is going to collapse. Just when the internet thought this story couldn't get any crazier, everything flipped. Because late last night, a new insider dropped something that changed the entire narrative. They claimed that the so-called security camera footage was never meant to expose Remy Ma or 50 Cent at all. It was actually meant to expose Papoose. According to this source, the original clip wasn't about betrayal. It was about a secret meeting Papoose himself had with a powerful industry figure, someone known for controlling careers behind the scenes. And in that private meeting, Papoose allegedly made a shocking deal. A deal where he agreed to manufacture drama involving Remy Ma and 50 Cent in exchange for one thing: a guaranteed return to the spotlight. That means the entire scandal wasn't revenge. It wasn't exposure. It was a planned sacrifice. But here's where it gets even darker. The source says Remy Ma had no idea. She thought Papoose was protecting her image, while behind the scenes, he was building a fake storyline to make himself relevant again. And when she found out, she allegedly confronted him. That confrontation is what the camera really caught. Not cheating, not romance, but panic. Papoose begging Remy Ma not to ruin the plan. Remy Ma screaming that she would never let her name be used like that. And 50 Cent? He was never involved. He was only mentioned to make the drama feel bigger and more believable. So, if that's true, then this wasn't about Remy Ma or 50 Cent at all. This was about a husband who was willing to destroy his own marriage for fame. But the biggest twist? The insider says this was only phase 1. Because there is another clip. A longer one. One that shows what happened right after the argument ended. And according to them, what happens in that second video is something that could completely change Remy Ma's future forever. Something so serious, it could even involve the courts, contracts, and criminal consequences. And the scariest part? That second video hasn't been released yet. Which means right now, everyone is waiting. Waiting to see if Remy Ma will speak. Waiting to see if 50 Cent will respond. And waiting to see if Papoose will finally admit the truth before it's too late. Because when that final clip drops, one of them is going to be completely finished in this industry. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. If you made it this far, you already know this story is far from over. So now I need to hear from you. Do you think Papoose really planned this whole thing? Or is someone trying to destroy him? And what about Remy Ma? Is she the victim? Or does she know more than she's saying? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now, because the next update might change everything. Hit that like button, subscribe for the real truth behind the headlines, and turn on notifications, because when that second video drops, you'll want to be here first.